One of the questions that we had, and just to backtrack a little bit or to get towards a different topic a little bit, we covered, because one of the federal mandates was to sort of revisit the down payment matching through CMHC and the idea that rather than take the same 5% of what you put in and take all that, the 5% of the new value when you sell it, they're now just going to fix the amount they put in. So there's this program out there, and Igor will speak to it here, where if you're putting 5% down, CMHC will also put 5% down so that you have 10% equity in the property, which lowers your payment and lowers your CMHC premium. But in the past, the challenge, or still currently, I don't know if they've changed this yet.
Nope.
When you sell, there's some cons to that. So tell us about the program first and tell us the positives, I guess, with it.
Yeah, so it's a federal government program cleverly named the FTHBI, which is the First Time Home Buyers Incentive. They didn't bother.
Love a good acronym.
Yeah, just easy to absorb. And so it's a shared equity program, and that's really important to understand. Now, it's not good or bad. A lot of people, I think, in our industry in the mortgage business say it's bad because I think they didn't bother doing the math, frankly. Nothing is good or bad. Everything is case by case, as cliche as that sounds. Mm-hmm. So the way that it works is, say you do your 5% down, which you have to. If you meet the criteria, which I'll explain, it's very simple, you can get the government to give you another 5%. And it's very simple, like in the sense that if you meet the criteria, they'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. Or you don't and they won't. Like it's not like maybe not. If you qualify, you get it. Yeah. The criteria is simple. You are a first-time buyer. Your household income, so whether it's you or two applicants, is no more than $120,000.
They're increasing that, aren't they?
In certain markets. Okay. Because in Toronto, because of the next point I'll make here, in Toronto and Vancouver, it's useless.
Yeah, no one qualified for it.
Because the third part is the amount you borrow, which is the mortgage. So say 90%. Plus the 5% from them can't be more than 4 times your income. Oh. So if the income is capped at 120, that means your borrowing can't be more than 480, which means you can't buy anything in certain cities.
Yeah. Who are the like? How is that a usable program in some?
We've already got almost the average house price is $700. Right. Toronto's average is like 1.1, and they're
so it's utterly
program. Yeah, $480,000 sheds.
Yeah, it's utterly useless.
But it gets even more complicated because what if your income isn't $120K?
Right. So this is another point. Now, the other thing just to quickly mention is if you're buying new construction, you can actually get 10% from them. You can choose 5 or 10 on top of your original 5. Now, here's another point. So say you have an applicant, this especially happens with single income applicants. Say someone makes, $70,000 or something like that, and they have no debt. They might be able to qualify for a mortgage of, X amount.
Yeah, it's a great applicant. They might be able to qualify for mortgage. It's like
low threes,
360, 350.
Yeah, like say low 3s. But if they want to use this program, 70 times 4 is 280, right?
They can't buy over 280. Yeah.
Right. So the program actually sends them backwards in what they can get.
Yeah. So there's some broken math here.
Because it's the government, and I make no qualms in saying that they come out with stuff to be like, look at us, look at what we're doing for the consumer and for the little guy, and we're all about the middle class. And like, I'm not a political guy, but I think in every industry, people in it look at programs that the government did, quote unquote, for everyone's own good and roll their eyes and say, like, if only you had asked us
what
just we actually think.
In the know.
And they say that they did, but that's total nonsense. Because then these little fallacies wouldn't exist.
Take place, right? 100%.
And I think in certain markets, we've mentioned here in Nova Scotia, you drive an hour and the price drops by 75%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there are areas of the province where this would have been like, this is amazing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm getting extra equity in the home right away. Payment comes down. All of these things are great. And those houses are affordable. Yeah. But ironically, these are meant to make
the expensive house is more affordable.
Yeah, the expensive house is more affordable, and it didn't function.
The pitch of it, anyway.
Yeah. And that's where most of the population lives, too, obviously. And
this wouldn't really be. This is why you and I was like, I never knew anyone that used that program, and someone who was, in the Valley quickly pointed out that he had used it. And these numbers don't really jive here in town a whole lot.
So we've done a bunch of them, but so here's the flip side. So this kind of the benefit is a bit technical, but I'll explain it as quick as possible. So when you put less than 20% down, you have to pay default insurance. CMHC, what people often interchangeably use with default insurance, it's just one of 3 insurance companies, but the cost of the insurance is the same between all 3 of them. So
Genworth and Canada Guarantee.
Genworth just rebranded for some reason. Now they're called Sagen. Okay. But Canada Guarantee is the third one. Yeah. And then CMHC is the government-owned Crown Corp. So the point is, if you put 5% down, the cost of the insurance is then 4% of the amount of the mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's 4% of 95%.
Yeah.
Right. If you put 10% down, the insurance cost is 3.1.
Yeah.
So you save almost the full percent of the entire mortgage amount if you do the 10% down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So putting
a few $1,000 anyway, and then
right,
multiplied, compounding
it's something, right? So by using this program, to me, the biggest benefit is, ironically, it's the government and the insurance company giving you the money to lower the insurance you pay them.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the benefit. So you save a few $1,000s upfront, right? And then, so on say like a $400,000 home, doing this would save you about $4,000 upfront in the insurance,
Actual premium,
right? And then about $100 a month on your payment because your mortgage is
huge.
lower,
Yeah,
right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
And the payment is important, I think, in determining like if this is good for someone or not, based on how long they may own the home.
Yeah.
Because the payment savings need to amount to something, and that happens over time. Right, $100 a month in a year is $1,200. 5 years is $6,000. So 5 years is an easy window. $6,000 in payment savings, $4,000 in insurance savings. So you're up $10,000 in 5 years.
Right. The catch is that they own kind of 5% of your property, and this is what they're looking at changing. Because explain why that can be a bit of a bummer.
So it's shared equity. So you're up this $10,000. You borrowed on a $400,000 home $20,000, right?
Yeah.
5%. When you sell, you don't owe them $20,000. You owe them 5% of what you sell your house for.
Yeah.
Now, say you sell that house in 5 years, and say we have like not the crazy appreciation we've had in the past 2 years. Say it's 5% a year. That works out to like low 500s.
Yeah.
So say you sell for $500,000, right? So you now owe them $25,000.
Right.
Yeah.
5% of that. 20 of it was never yours, so that's fine. So this cost you $5,000.
Which eats into all the savings we
you
just talked about.
saved you 10.
Yep.
So you're still up 5, and you've enjoyed a lower payment for all those 5 years.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So not bad.
Yeah.
And today's 30% year over year, or as CMHC says, 75% year over year appreciations, you might.
Then you're getting smoked.
But is that going to keep happening every year? Going
No.
forward?
No,
Right,
definitely not.
And
Definitely
realistically, those gains have been in markets where you couldn't get this program anyway.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. But they are looking at changing that. One, I think they're going to tweak all the qualifications to make it actually usable.
Yeah.
In these major markets.
Allegedly.
And two, allegedly, they're going to say, okay, your 5% at the time was $20,000. When you sell down the road, you're still just going to owe us that $20,000.
Right. That'd be nice. I mean, but
If
then,
they go through with it.
then they're just doing it
Bill of Rights.
out of the goodness of their own heart, right? Like that's
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Eastern European. I don't trust the government, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how they offer this program at the same time as everything is popping off.
right. Is that a coincidence? Like,
And running for an election and
Right.
all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Now they'll also share in the downside. So when values plummet, you only owe them 5% of the lower number.
Yeah.
Which like great and all, but that's not.
When I was broke, I had rich habits.